Joining us now is Okpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Jinx.
Good morning, Dr. Abati. How are you?
Good morning.
Tutu, you look lovely in your white.
Thank you, Daddy.
Beautiful.
Thank you. So do you.
Thank you. Good morning, Rufai.
Oji, you look great.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, good. Well, you too. You look great, Dr. Abati.
Thank
Sorry.
you.
I didn't mean to skip you. Well, good morning to you, viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe. In the United Kingdom, the police appealed on Tuesday to anyone with information about the murder of a Nigerian boy whose torso was found in River Thames 20 years ago to come forward to help them solve the case, which they believe may have been a ritualistic killing. According to police, the boy was aged 5 or 6 when his body, which had the head and limbs severed, was found floating near Tower Bridge. While in the United States, officials have confirmed the body found over the weekend near Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming belongs to Gabby Petito, the 22-year-old woman who went missing while on a cross-country road trip with her boyfriend. In Nairobi, Kenya, a slum named Korogocho, where women aged 60 to well over 90 meet every Thursday afternoon to practice Taekwondo in a bid to protect themselves against sexual assault, has made the rounds, according to the lead trainer of the group, Jane Waitagani Kimaru. The class is so serious that late arrivals are ordered to do sit-ups and jumping jacks as punishment. In Nigeria, reactions have trailed President Muhammadu Buhari's attendance of the debate session at the opening of the 76th General Assembly at the United Nations headquarters in New York. On Tuesday, photos of the president, who was accompanied by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Jeffrey Oyama, made the round. Other sports. The girls on Afghanistan's national soccer team, who had been moving around the country with the rescue mission called Operation Soccer Balls, have now been given asylum in Portugal. Finally, under entertainment, tributes have been pouring in for Riskat Adegeye, wife of Nigeria's legendary juju singer and multi-instrumentalist King Sunny Ade. Riskat was a former member of the Lagos State House of Assembly and is reported to have played several vital roles in the growth and development of Lagos. She died on Tuesday after a brief illness, just hours before King Sunny Ade's 75th birthday, which happens to be today.
Well, may her soul rest in peace, and a happy 75th birthday to King Sunny Ade. Let's begin what's trending in Nigeria. The Minister of State for Mines and Steel Development, Uche Oga, have accused the elite of undermining the country's tottering economy by aiding and abetting gold smuggling and illegal mining to the tune of $9 billion yearly. The minister, during an investigative hearing by the Senate Committee on Solid Minerals, Mines, Steel Development and Metallurgy, said gold smuggling in Nigeria is often done using private jets and that the smuggled minerals are usually ferried out to Dubai, mainly through Togo and Niger Republic. His accusation comes at a time when President Muhammadu Buhari approved the borrowing of some $4.5 billion. The minister argued that it was absurd that the government is not applying the rigor and mettle needed to recover its income, but instead borrowing and jeopardizing the future of Nigeria. Dr. Abati, over to you for your analysis on this story.
Well, I don't think it's enough for the Minister of State for Mines and Steel Development to merely complain that, the elite class is responsible for the smuggling of mineral resources in Nigeria, and that particularly those who own private jets, are involved in this. I thought in some parts of the country, Zamfara in particular, there was a no-fly
Yes, the president
zone order.
Correct.
So it means simply that those who own those private jets are not, obeying that no-fly zone rule that was put in place by the government. And however, it's not enough to just say owners of private jets. What effort has the minister or his ministry made to carry out investigation? We're told that about 65 owners of private jets have refused to even register their jets or, even pay the necessary fees that they are supposed to pay. So that's weakness on the part of the regulatory agencies. So these are some of the issues beyond just raising the alarm. And in the mine and steel development sector, I made a point that over the years, there have been all kinds of studies. There have been all kinds of frameworks, either from the present High Commissioner to the UK, Sharafa Ishola, when he was there. At the time, it was Obi Ezekwesili. At the time, it was Dr. Kayode Fayemi. You have all these ministers coming up with frameworks, but you have this policy inconsistency. You have nobody following through. There's also the challenge. It's not just only private jet owners that, can be singled out. The bigger problem is with illegal mining and also artisanal mining. Absolutely. And the failure of the government, to put all of this within a framework or to impose the necessary sanctions. And then finally, the bigger challenge in the mining sector in Nigeria has to do with the control of resources by the federal government. For you to get a mining license, you have to go to the federal government, to be able to get it. I wrote recently about the gold mining refinery, the first of its type, in Nigeria, in Osun State, in a place called Usu, which was put together, by the present administration there. But it took up to 25 years before Osun State can get to that point, because you need to go through the federal government, get the licensing. So all of this will need to be simplified, rather than just saying, well, it's the elite that are doing this. Well, gold mining will probably require some infrastructure. And the high-end technology that is used in gold mining now doesn't come cheap, yes, but what are the solutions? Yes. Rather than a minister complaining. I'd rather be more interested in the Minister of State for Mines and Steel Development, saying these are the steps that we will take, rather than this lamentation.
Well, I appreciate the fact that he has raised the alarm, and I think that there should be a thorough investigation. And if he has resources to even name and shame them, remember we were talking about naming and shaming only yesterday, I think that he should also come forward to do so.
Yeah, name, shame, and prosecute. Take everything to a logical conclusion. And some of that is outside of the ambit of his responsibilities. Some of that has to be undertaken by other departments, MDAs, what have you. But my issue is this. Gold smuggling, illegal gold smuggling is always going to be a factor until something is done about it, something concrete is done about it. There's always going to be unscrupulous people in our midst. That's just a fact of the matter. At some point, it was the Chinese who were allegedly coming in here, feigning, construction work and actually robbing this country blind and flying off with our mineral resources. And the issue that you raised is one of my pet peeves. I just fail to see why our whole entire system is so centralized. We need to bin the 1999 Constitution and start again. Yes. But let me not digress and get into that. But with regard to this gold mining smuggling, the same thing needs to be done with gold as was done with diamonds, where the Kimberley process was instituted because of the proliferation of blood diamonds and how blood diamonds were fueling all kinds of wars, all kinds of massacres, especially on the African continent. Yes. So the Kimberley process was instituted. So today, before you wear any diamond, you want to know its provenance. We even had a scandal recently, didn't we? There was a bit of a storm in a teacup because Beyonce was wearing the Tiffany diamond. Absolutely. And it's a blood diamond. That's what we need to do with gold diamonds, so that it's so stigmatized that there's no longer an appetite for it when it's mined illegally.
Yeah, there's absolute outrage right now
regarding this. Every bar of gold is supposed to have an identity. Right. You can trace its source.
Correct.
In the international market.
Nigerians are very
illegal
upset.
smuggling, does that happen?
But who does it?
No, exactly. We need to start doing that with
I'm
gold.
touching you because I want you to comment on this story together, because in another development, the former emir of Kano and leader of the Tijaniya movement in Nigeria, Lamido Sanusi, has asked Nigerians to stop insulting their leaders over the hardship faced in the country. Sanusi made the call while addressing Tijaniya adherents from 7 states of the Northwest geopolitical zone on Tuesday in Sokoto State. Sanusi further advised that instead of cursing and assaulting leaders, Nigerians and Tijaniya adherents should be prayerful while expressing optimism that Nigeria will be better. Well, some Nigerians have disagreed with his call. Let's take a tweet from David, who wrote, "Should they pray for the leaders or just stay silent? The leaders' children school abroad on $60,000 fee per term. Their wives take monthly trip to Dubai for shopping. The leaders go for medical checkup. In the EU, UK, USA, Saudi Arabia, the public are starved, kidnapped, and killed." Rufai, over to you.
Pray for who? These leaders? No. We'll pray for them, yes, but we'll also criticize them. But why should it be about prayers? Things are wrong in this country. Criticism is what can make them understand the feelings and pains of the people. In fact, criticism is the purest form of prayer any leader can get. Because praying to you about his concerns, what is hurting him? So you'll criticize. The buck stops with the leader. If you can't take criticism, there's no point being a leader. If you can't stand the heat, don't get into the kitchen. You must be criticized. The buck stops with you. The way and manner of criticism might be different. I don't subscribe to insult abuses. It should be about preferring solutions. But the fact that, don't talk about it, no. We must talk about it. People must criticize, but criticize to bring solutions. And let's de-emphasize this overemphasis on prayers. Prayer, 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 prayer.
We just talked about it yesterday.
Countries like China, I've never heard where they say, let's have national prayers in China, and the economy is doing well. Yeah, there's religion, but let's de-emphasize this emphasis on prayers. Let us face this thing squarely and make our country work. Coming back, Tulu made most of the points on the diamonds. There's a need for a Kimberley process. But for me, I think the thinking should be, why don't we create an ecosystem for this mineral resource in the places which they are being mined? Professor Patutomi was talking about the need for industries. Why is it that every diamond taken out of Nigeria is taken to Antwerp to go cut, and you don't have any diamond under the ground in Antwerp in Belgium? The only thing Antwerp has done is it has developed an ecosystem where you can cut diamonds, there are skilled people that cut diamonds, and they can sell. So why can't we have the big diamond market out of the place where they are being mined? And it feeds back to the ecosystem. So we must disincentivize and make it not attractive for people to take this mineral resource out of the country.
Yeah.
Because either ways, people will still smuggle. Even in the oil sector, they're smuggling. But how can we make it in such a way that the smuggling is put back into this economy so that this economy reaps for it? So if they're saying they're taking 9 billion worth of
9 billion yearly
out, just imagine the investment that would be in the economy of these areas of the north. Maybe that will fix the problem of poverty. Then you can tax it. Then you can put every resource in place to ensure it works. So the government must work with them. And that's why we keep calling for restructuring. The government can't handle everything. Let people govern their resource. Then they can pay a little back to the federation account. So, but let's create hubs. So what I think now the Minister of Natural Resources should be doing is, how can we set up training institutes in the north that can cut and refine gold? That should be the investment. Because when you disincentivize it, it comes back here. Everything is incentive. Dubai used to be a desert. It wasn't a gold market. All of a sudden, Dubai became a gold market because it incentivized investors by putting the infrastructure in place. Because it was running out of oil. 1991, Dubai had no skyscrapers. But today, Dubai has a lot of skyscrapers. That's what governmental investment does. So it's time for us to look inward and disincentivize that market in such a way that even if people smuggle, they want to refine it here and sell it on the market here. And the government put regulations in place.
All right, Tundra, I feel like you had something to say with regards to the Emir's statement.
I always have something to say, darling. I do. I actually think that it would be even better if the leaders that are being insulted actually cared. They don't. So that's the main point for me. They actually do not give a rat's behind whether you insult them or not. That's the tragedy. There isn't a sense of accountability. Once they're in power, not in service, mind you, power, they don't care what the public has to say. But for me, as a general rule, you're aware of this, for me, spiritual laws, so I will never dismiss prayer. Spiritual laws are as real to me as a law like gravity. Energy must return to its source. you must be careful about how you insult people, whether leaders or whoever, because it comes back to you. There is a day on which you will account for every word you've ever said in your life, every word you've ever posted, everything. Every single thing. And even before that day, that energy, the words that you speak, determine what is happening in your life. A lot of people are sitting there going, oh, why isn't this working out for me? Why aren't doors opening? Because you've said something about somebody. For me, it's that simple. So I feel that a deaf and blind leader is not even worth the karmic garbage. So I wouldn't even bother to insult them because you pay a price and they really don't care. Right. For me, criticism is the way to go. Criticism is important. It is key. People should never be gagged.
I think so too. Dr. Bate, quick comment.
Well, very quickly, I think the statement by the former Emir of Kano should be put in context. He was speaking to adherents of the Tijaniya sect. And he's the leader of the Tijaniya movement in Nigeria. So it was a religious event. I mean, many people will tell you that when it comes to criticism, nobody has done, more than, Sanusi, Lamido Sanusi, either when it was central bank governor or even when it was Emir of Kano. In fact, that was part of the problem, wasn't it? The fact that he was an outspoken, traditional ruler. But in this particular case, this was a religious event. And what was he talking about? He said other things beyond let's pray for our leaders. And if religious people are gathered, okay, what do they do in religious gatherings? They gather, they pray. And he referred to the Quran, to Islamic injunctions. That look, you are supposed, within the purview of the Quran, to pray for your leaders, be committed to peace and development, try to do your best for your country. But I don't think that in itself precludes the fact that he himself understands that leaders can be criticized. And he talked about insults. Don't insult them. Insult is different from criticism.
Yes, I think it's majorly the insult and
criticize in a constructive manner. Yeah. Yes, okay, cursing your leaders.
Yeah.
Your curse will come back to you.
So there was a religious tone to what he was saying. And I thought, well, it's interesting to see the former Emir of Kano now wearing another cap as a religious leader. It would have been odd for the leader of the Tijaniya movement to use the platform of that religious gathering to make a critical political statement. So it's a question of compartmentalizing. The same man, if you invite him to a seminar tomorrow or a colloquium, and he's wearing his suit or he's speaking as an economist, he's likely to say something different.
Well, he's been very critical as well.
Critical. So absolutely. The context is important.
Correct. We'll take another story. Amid the rise in cases of COVID-19 and travel restrictions imposed by many countries, some health workers in Nigeria are selling fake COVID-19 vaccination cards, as revealed by the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency on Tuesday. Fishal Shaibu, the executive director of the agency, while speaking at a briefing in Abuja, said the Department of State Services and Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission are collaborating with the agency to investigate the issue, and the health workers behind the criminal activity will be prosecuted after investigation. Shoaib also said that beyond the health workers, the individuals that are promoting or trying to purchase the vaccination cards illegally will also be prosecuted, and have called on Nigerians to report any suspected case of buying and selling of the vaccination cards. Tundu Abiola, I mean, this is completely... We were only just talking about fake COVID results when COVID started in Nigeria, and now they're selling fake. I mean, why is this? Why do these people do these things? I mean, in Nigeria, really?
That's really the question, OG.
Why?
We're talking about whether Covishield, the AstraZeneca that we got here in Nigeria, is acceptable worldwide or not, and that hasn't got anything to do with its efficacy, more to do with documentation or possibly perception. And now we have this to contend with. So even if you have had your 2 jabs and gone through all the pains that some of us went through when we got those jabs, your card might be rejected because they know that somebody somewhere has printed something out, written something, and just handed it over. If you're going to go through all that effort, might as well just, take the jab. It's the same way with the yellow fever cards. You can have that yellow card in your passport. When you land, I know South Africa is particularly notorious. They will tell you that, yes, we can see a yellow fever card, but we do not know if you actually got the jab. So just they'll just direct you somewhere. You have to take that vaccination. You're not trusted when you present documents from Nigeria.
And that is why they have that issue with the UK and the travel restrictions.
It's because people like, we're not trusted.
Exactly.
We're not trusted.
Right. Rufai, a comment from you.
I mean, it's a sad reality of where we have become as a nation.
Right.
How we keep doing this to ourselves every time. Make ourselves look bad. I'd just like to advise people that do it, please stop it. It's useless. There's no point. How about you? After selling that car to somebody, and the person still gets COVID in the end.
That is the issue.
Still dies of COVID.
Who are you fooling?
So it's senseless. Don't do it. There's no point. And we do it every time. You remember when the vaccines came, how people were doing vaccine racketeering and the likes. Remember that story here.
The COVID result was the one that really scared me. The fake COVID result.
I think it's time. Yeah, we talk about leaders all day. But sometimes we Nigerians ourselves, please, we should be serious with ourselves. This is bad.
Dr. Abate, a comment from you.
I think the key point made by Dr. Faisal Shaib was that the sale of fake vaccination cards is criminal, dubious, and that, it should be condemned in its entirety. Then, of course, it's good news that the NPHCDA, the Primary Healthcare Development Agency, is collaborating with the security agencies to make sure that anybody who issues or procures, a fake vaccination card is sanctioned. This was very common with yellow vaccination cards.
Yellow fever.
Yellow fever cards in Nigeria. And that's why when Nigerians go to some countries, they say, no, we don't recognize your yellow fever card from Nigeria. Come and take a fresh jab. So you'll find these sharp practices, but the thing to do is to make sure that there are structures in place to make sure that people do not game the system. The other points he made are also quite relevant. The fact that ordinary people, individuals, you and I, should also assist government to identify persons who are building a racket in COVID-19 vaccination cards. And in any case, it's counterproductive ultimately. I think the update that he gave was quite useful because he gave the update about Nigeria and the UK, where a new traffic light system has been introduced for COVID. And whether you take PCR tests or you don't take, how they now have two basic categories. And he says, although Nigeria has not been classified yet, but that they do not expect that Nigeria will be on the red list. And he gave an account of how far Nigeria has been able to go. But we would like to see Nigeria do more. And then, of course, he addressed the issue of the AstraZeneca vaccine, that there has been no objection to the type that has been used in Nigeria, either from the United Kingdom or elsewhere. And he repeated the point about reciprocity. Again, that as a Nigerian, if you go for now, you may have to take PR tests of quarantine for 7 days, and that those who come from UK, they do the same thing here in Nigeria. So, I like the fact that the NPHCDA is always giving these updates and drawing our attention to what is important.
So important. We'll take our final story. We'll discuss the U.S. tomorrow, Tundu, but we'll just take this because of time in Nairobi, Kenya, a slum named Korocho, where women aged 60 to well over 90 meet every Thursday afternoon to practice Taekwondo in a bid to protect themselves against sexual assault, has made the rounds, according to the lead trainer of the group, Jane Kimaru. The class is so serious that the late arrivals are ordered to do sit-ups and jumping jacks as punishment. How brave are these women? People are saying, Dr. Abati, how is it that who wants to rape women at this age? But it's very encouraging to see that these women have taken up, this Taekwondo class to protect themselves. Dr. Abati.
Rape is a very serious problem in Kenya, as is the case in other parts of Africa. The Kenyan health minister was quoted as saying that in the context of COVID, they had more cases. Last year alone, over 5,000 cases. And the women living in this part of Kenya is a slum. They are widows, mostly.
Yes.
And they are grappling with poverty. Yes. And they are vulnerable. And they've been attacked.
Why?
By rapists. And the youngest among these women is 60. The eldest amongst them, in this video you are showing,
90.
is 110.
Oh, yeah.
Why will a woman of 110 see men as, potential rapists? So it just shows
it's heartbreaking.
How serious the problem of, discrimination against women, violence against women is. And these women are resorting to what you may call the equivalent of self-help.
I love it.
By trying to learn defense
I love it.
tactics.
So
I hope they get to
sad.
break the bones of some of those, criminals.
I hope so
harassing
too.
them.
I hope so too.
Anyway, thank you, Chief.
Thank you. That's all I have for you on What's Trending today. See you tomorrow.